Welcome, Week 5, Stardom Sit-'em here. I'm Jason Gilbo at Fantasy Football Cafe, looking at some of the tougher matchups that you might be on the fringe about. Starting under center, Carson Palmer. Rough week against the Rams last week. He still threw over 300 yards and had a score. Decent week, but, not what he was producing earlier. The Lions, they may still be, cause you a little concern, with their defense, but they do rank 24th. In pass defense per Football Outsiders so far this season. I'm looking at the Cardinals to really bounce back here. Lions defense hasn't been that great. As long as they can protect Palmer, Cardinals, they're going to just be a vertical attack threat for the rest of the year. I'm not shying away from Palmer or any of his wideouts, especially Larry Fitzgerald. So, looking at Sam Bradford, somehow managed over 250 yards and 3 scores in a pretty bad weather day in Washington. It was kind of supposed to be a low-scoring affair, but he threw 3 touchdowns. Unfortunately, it was to none of the guys that we have on our fantasy teams: Riley Cooper, Brent Selleck, and Miles Austin, I believe. So it's kind of one of those things. But he's going to face the Saints at home this weekend, who are now healthier in the secondary, but still struggled. They still looked pretty bad last week, ranked dead last in pass defense. It seems Chip Kelly has turned over the passing game for points. New Orleans, they're a little bit tougher on the run, so you should see another big game through the air here, and I'm starting Sam Bradford, even with his consistency this season. Sitting for me this week, Matt Stafford. Cardinals defense has just been so stout against quarterbacks, outside of Nick Foles throwing up a couple touchdowns, but overall, a lot of quality quarterbacks just haven't come in and produced against Arizona. You're looking at guys like Kaepernick, who really struggled with 4 picks. Russell Wilson, not Russell Wilson. Drew Brees in the opening week did not look good. I'm looking for the Cardinals to bounce back here, both on offense and defense, and Stafford just can't get it done right now. Andy Dalton, been great so far this season, doing well, rushing for touchdowns, spreading the field, tossing up big scores. Seattle's defense comes into town. I just can't see Dalton putting up a monster game. He may throw, a score or 2, but I'm looking elsewhere. I'm trying to find some upside. I don't think the upside is there this week. I'm looking elsewhere. You got some other guys, Alex Smith, Jay Cutler, who I think have safer starts and both facing each other. I like that option as well. Running backs this week, Pats are coming off a bye week. Dion Lewis just locked up a nice little extension with New England. Going to face the Cowboys, who have just been absolutely shredded by running backs in the last couple of weeks, and especially the ones who are versatile and in the passing game as well. And that is Dion Lewis. He can run, he can work with Brady. Pats are going to score a ton of points. I love both the backs here, and fire up both Blount and Lewis here. Also, TJ Yeldon. Loved him last week once I heard the news Andrew Luck was sitting. This week, they're not going to be chasing the game either. Those matchups where the Jags are going to be down 20 very early. I'm putting Yeldon on the bench, but looking at this week, the Bucks haven't been throwing the ball well. They haven't been, Doug Martin's looked pretty good, but they haven't been putting up points in bunches. Game's going to be close. Yeldon's going to be heavily involved. He had 105 yards on 22 carries, trying to get him to find the end zone so he has that monster week, but he's a safe RB2. Sitting for me, CJ Anderson. Excuse me. Good matchup here against Oakland, but he's going to see a lesser role thanks to Ronnie Hillman stealing the show out there in Denver. Not that there's been a show to steal, because Anderson's just been awful this season. Whether he's injured, whatever the case is, he's just been bad. Kubiak has already said that Hillman's going to get a couple more looks, couple more touches here, because he's been the better back. So what does that say when Hillman's been kind of stealing the touches as long as the season's moved on here? Anderson's not going to get that much this week. I'm keeping him on the bench. I'm going to look to pick up Hillman for the future. If you handcuffed him, I'm starting Hillman over Anderson. Another Lions player, Amir Abdullah. I have no clue what the Detroit Lions are doing play calling wise, or what their plans are with Abdullah. They want him to get him more involved. He didn't really see it last week, but that was a tough matchup. But they get another tough matchup this week. So it's a safe avoid there. keep Abdullah on the bench and avoid another dud. Wideouts, reassuring everyone here, Mike Evans should be back in your lineups after I said sit last week against the Panthers. Jacksonville ranks 25th in pass defense here. Evans going to see a ton of targets, and now we'll be able to capitalize on for another big 100-yard game and possibly a score. Jordan Matthews pairing him up with Sam Bradford this week. Been kind of disappointing outside of a week one, but who hasn't in Philly? So going to face a Saints defense I've talked about already and should burn them pretty badly. Sitting this week, easy call. Amari Cooper going to take on Aqib Talib. No thank you. I don't want any part of that matchup. Denver's defense is just stout. The secondary is very good. The front seven gets to the quarterback quick. Not going to be an easy week for any of the Raiders. 49ers wideouts, if you're lingering, if you're trying to fill in a bye, look elsewhere. If you're hoping that Bolden comes back and Torrey Smith comes back, it's not going to happen until Kaepernick shows any sort of ability to move the ball down the field. And I don't think that's going to be the case against the Giants this week. Tight ends, love Antonio Gates. Fire him up if you've been waiting on him. Going to see a ton of targets with possibly a depleted receiving core with Stevie Johnson and Malcolm Floyd iffy. Gates is going to jump right back into things, and Rivers is looking pretty good early. So you like that. Notable defense this week to sit is Philadelphia. They're a popular ownership play here, but against the Saints, I just don't see them being good enough to stop the Saints offense, even though they haven't been the high-flying Saints that we've seen in the past. I'm looking elsewhere, looking for a defense with a little more upside. Love the Giants this week. Mentioned them in the streamer pod earlier this week. That's a good team to go look for. So that'll do it here. Good luck in week 5.